The knock came quick, 3 taps and a pause. Steam thinned along the ceiling. Music went down. "Ethan, grab it," Tyler said. I pulled the frosted spa door. 4 women stepped in, coats still cold from the night. The lead had a practiced smile. The third lifted her face. Lena, my fiancée. No one laughed. A beer hissed open and died halfway. I closed the door because my hands needed a job. "Wrong suite?" I asked. The lead woman glanced at Lena, then at me, taking the temperature. "We can step back out if the timing's off." "It's off," I said. Lena found my eyes and held them a second too long. Her expression flattened into neutral, the kind people use when they've trained for awkward rooms. I saw the damp ends of her hair, a dark coat, a clutch held tight. Behind me, Tyler started to explain what couldn't be explained. "Ethan, we booked through a contact. We didn't." "Not here," I said, without looking away from Lena. The room forgot what to do with its faces. Somebody cleared his throat like that might restart the night. I stepped sideways, giving Lena a path to the hall. She didn't move. The lead touched her elbow. That small, ordinary gesture said more than anyone would admit. "We need 5 minutes," I told the guys. "Cool off. No stories?" They filed toward the wet area, heads down, towels and jokes suddenly heavy. The lead nudged the other women back into the corridor. I followed them out and let the door click shut. The air outside was cooler, honest. "You knew this was my night," I said. "I didn't know it was your suite," Lena answered. The sentence sounded like a defense built for small spaces. "How long?" She took too long to answer. "Ethan, can we talk somewhere else?" Somewhere else. The phrase landed like a receipt. We stood in the quiet hallway, the kind with beige carpet that makes you whisper even when you don't have to. A service cart hummed behind a corner. Down the corridor, a green exit sign did its job. I thought of our week, china patterns on Sunday, a seating chart on Tuesday, the pastor's line about saying yes on ordinary days. This wasn't ordinary, it was exact. 10 minutes, I said. "Parking garage. We'll talk there." She nodded once. I opened the door just enough to tell Tyler, "I'm out for a bit." He searched my face for instructions I didn't have. I walked past the desk without stopping, past a potted tree, past the mirror that tried to hand me back a man I didn't recognize. In the elevator, I watched the numbers change and realized the night had changed first. The garage air was sharp and honest. I leaned against Tyler's SUV and counted the seams in the concrete until footsteps echoed. Lena came down the ramp with her hands in her coat, chin tucked like the temperature was a secret. "I didn't plan for you to be there," she said. "Call it what it is," I said. "Work. I do what I have to do." "How long?" She hesitated. "A year and change, not every week. Private bookings, through a contact." "From the studio?" "From someone who used to be there," she said. "He passes along clients." "Protection? Testing?" "Always," she said, then caught herself. "I know that's not the point." "It isn't," I said. "But I'm relieved anyway." We stood beside a painted number on the wall. A car rolled past, tires hissed, and the silence came back. "Why didn't you tell me?" I asked. "Because you wanted a version of me that fit the invitations," she said. "And I wanted one too." The line landed clean. No drama, just the fact. "Were you going to tell me before the wedding?" I told myself yes. Then I told myself after. Then I told myself I'd never need to, because it would be over. "So last night was routine," I said. "Wrong door, wrong room." "It wasn't supposed to touch you," she said. "That's not how marriage works." She looked at the floor, then at me. Do you want me to lie tonight so you can get through the week? I can make a story that feels better for 48 hours. No, I said. I want the truth I can live with next year. She nodded once, like taking a verdict she already knew. What now? I'm calling off the wedding, I said. Not because you're unclean, because we don't share the same truth. Her mouth tightened and then relaxed. Can we talk tomorrow? Daylight, coffee, no audience. We can talk, I said, but not as a bride and groom on a countdown. That clock stopped. She swallowed. Money, deposits, vendors, I'll cover my half. We'll sort the paperwork, I said. Tonight, just hear me. I'm done pretending we're the people on those invitations. A delivery van eased by, and the driver waved at nobody. The concrete held our words better than the suite upstairs ever could. I loved being with you, she said. Groceries, laundry, stupid shows on the couch. I didn't love the fear that the past would follow me into it. I get it, I said. Understanding isn't the same as agreement. She managed a thin smile that didn't travel far. Do you want the ring back now? Tomorrow, I said. Bring it to coffee. Keep tonight simple. She nodded. Where? Parsons' Diner. 9. Okay. We stood there a few more seconds because endings don't know when to leave. She turned first, footsteps up the ramp, coat swinging. At the top she looked back, not for permission, just to mark the moment. I raised a hand. She went out into the night. I stayed long enough to feel the decision settle. Then I texted Tyler. I'm fine. Be back later. No stories. He sent a thumbs up and nothing else. On the walk to the lobby, I passed a mirror in the service corridor. It tried to hand me a version of myself that looked calm. The elevator numbers climbed. Tomorrow would be coffee, calls, and contracts. Tonight was the line. I crossed the lobby for bright lights and a counter to lean on. The concierge's badge said Maria. Suite 412, I said. There were arrangements. We book through approved vendors for private events, she said. That's enough, I said. If any incidentals hit 412 tonight, put them on me. She nodded once. Understood. Back home, the apartment looked staged. Too clean for the night I'd had. The seating chart stared from the table. I called my mother. Are you safe? She asked. I am, I said. The wedding's off. Do you want me to come over? Tomorrow, I said. Tonight, I'm writing emails. I opened the laptop. Due to a change in circumstances, the venue kept the deposit. The band kept half. The photographer offered a full refund minus the engagement shoot. I typed thank you and meant it. At 1:17 a.m., the buzzer sounded. Tyler came up with 2 coffees and the face of a man who thinks he helped break a thing. I didn't know, he said. I know, I said. You ordered noise and got thunder. He winced. What do you need? Tomorrow, return the suits, release the hotel block, tell the guys it's off. No details in the chat. Done, he said, relieved to have orders. We drank coffee like it was a task. He looked at the ring box on the counter and didn't ask. The room settled. Do you want the story of how we booked it? He said. Give me the short version. Contact from the concierge, time slot, flat rate, no names. People sign for their own choices, I said. He nodded. You're doing the right thing. I don't know what that is yet, I said. I know what it isn't. When he left, I sent a short message to the groomsmen. I'm okay. No stories. I turned off the lights in a slow row until the apartment matched the size of the night. Sleep came late, but clean. The diner was half full and loud in a friendly way. Two phones sat face down between the coffee cups. Lena wore no makeup. She stood when I arrived, then sat back down like we were learning new rules. "How long?" I asked. "A year and change," she said. "Private bookings through a contact who used to be at the studio. Cash. Fewer questions." "Old debts?" I said. She nodded. "Old debts. Bad decisions. Fast fixes. Protection? Testing. Always," she said. "I know that isn't the point." "It isn't," I said. "But I'm still relieved." The waitress topped off our coffees and moved on. We let the noise of other breakfasts carry a minute. "Why didn't you tell me?" I asked. "Because you wanted a version of me that fit the invitations," she said. "I wanted that version too. I kept thinking I could cross a line and leave it all behind." "And last night was routine," I said. "Until it wasn't." She held my eyes. "I wasn't trying to humiliate you. I was trying to finish something without involving you." "That's not how marriage works," I said. "Could we postpone?" she asked. "Call it a long engagement while I put the rest behind me. I'll quit. I already started." "Postpone to which truth?" I said. "To the one where I know, or the one where I don't? Marriage isn't a witness protection program." She looked down at her hands, then reached into her coat pocket and set the ring box on the table. She opened it, took out the band, and placed it between the cups. No speech, just a fact on chrome. "I'll cover my half of what we lose," she said. "Venue, band, whatever's already paid." "We'll settle it clean," I said. "Call it tuition and learn from it." She winced at the word and then accepted it. "Were there signs?" she asked softly. "There were," I said. "I painted over them because the picture looked good from the street." Silence again. The kid in the next booth sorted jelly packets by color. A server laughed at something we couldn't hear. "For what it's worth," Lena said. "With you I wanted grocery lists and dumb shows and ordinary days. I didn't want the past in the room." "I believe you wanted that," I said. "Wanting and choosing aren't the same." She took a breath. "If people ask, I'll say it was me. You don't need to carry my story." "Tell the truth," I said. "That's the point of today." She slid the ring toward me. I didn't touch it. "I'll pick it up later," I said. "Right now it's just an object with too much job." She managed a small, tired smile. "What happens after this coffee?" "I call the venue and the band," I said. "You email the florist. We both message guests with the same line. The wedding is canceled. Thank you for understanding." No details. No group chat theater. "And us?" she asked. "We give each other room," I said. "No late-night rewrites. If we talk again, it's because there's something new to say." She nodded. "Do you hate me?" "I don't," I said. "I'm done pretending, and I don't hate you." The check came. We paid separately. Outside, the wind moved paper along the curb. She hugged her coat tighter. "I'll have the florist receipt to you by tonight," she said. "Text it," I said. "I'll send the venue contract." "Goodbye, Ethan." "Goodbye, Lena." We stepped apart like co-workers after a hard meeting. No hug. No promises we couldn't keep. I put the ring in my pocket only after she turned the corner. On the way home, I passed the church where the pastor liked to say yes on ordinary days. I heard my own answer forming. Sometimes you keep ordinary safe by saying no on an extraordinary one. Friday morning, I met my father at the venue. The coordinator had the contract flagged with sticky notes. "We'll keep the deposit," she said, voice gentle, numbers firm. "We understand," my father answered before I tried to bargain. I signed where the flags told me to sign. Clean loss is still loss. Outside, he asked if I wanted breakfast. I did. Over eggs, he talked about brake pads and a kid at the hardware store who can't count change without the register. He was giving me ordinary on purpose. It worked. Back home, I texted the pastor. He called me an hour later. "You can forgive someone and still not marry them," he said. "Mercy is free. Trust is earned." I needed that sentence, I said. "Write it down," he said. "Then do your paperwork." So I did. I boxed the favors. I labeled 2 bins: return and donate. I called the bakery. They couldn't resell the cake layers, but they wished me well. I emailed the band. They kept the retainer and sent a short, kind note about playing bars where couples split mid-song. The photographer refunded everything but the engagement shoot. I sent quick thank you replies and moved to the next tab. Paperwork was simple. The cost wasn't. I sent one message to guests. "The wedding is canceled. Please cancel travel. Thank you for understanding." No details. No group chat debates. Replies arrived. Hearts, prayers, are you okay? I put the phone face down and kept going. At dusk, an envelope waited by my door with my name in her handwriting. Inside, the ring in its box. No note. Just the object we tried to make holy and couldn't. I called. She picked up on the second ring. "Thank you for returning it without theater," I said. "I sent receipts," she said. "Florist and hair. I'll cover my side." "I'll send the venue and band," I said. "We'll settle it clean and be done." A pause, then. "I gave notice at the studio," she said. "I'm leaving the work, not for you, for me." "I hope you do," I said. It wasn't a blessing, and it wasn't a fight. It was a line. "One more thing," I added. "No posts, no versions of the story online. We tell the people who need to know, and that's it." "Agreed," she said. After the call, I put the ring on the table and left it there. I sent Tyler a list for tomorrow. Pick up refunds, close the hotel block, return a box of ties the guys had ordered in a heroic shade of blue. He replied, "On it." Before bed, I wrote the pastor's line on an index card and slid it into my wallet. I didn't need to look at it to know what it said. I just needed to decide like a man who believed it. Sleep came easier. Decisions once made don't fix everything. They do clear the desk. Saturday, I cleaned the kitchen. Order helps. I boxed the last wedding favors and labeled a bag donate. The ring box sat on the table like a period at the end of a sentence. At noon, I went to the jeweler. The manager remembered me. "I can buy it back," he said, tapping the keys, "or reset the stone." "Reset," I said. "Simple pendant. No hurry. For yourself?" "For my sister," I said. "She's due in June. A gift for the woman who always tells me the truth." He nodded. We picked a plain setting. The receipt went into my wallet beside the card that says, "Mercy is free. Trust is earned." Weeks learned how to stack. I ran before work. I helped my father replace a porch rail for a neighbor, and we got it wrong by half an inch the first time. He said, "Close counts when the board swells," and we tried again. At night, I read. I turned the phone face down more often than not. In April, I saw Lena at the farmer's market. Early light, short lines. She stood by the strawberries with a canvas bag from a salon I knew. We both froze for a second, then she lifted a hand. "Hi, Ethan." "Hi, Lena." She looked like a person on a Saturday. No angles, no theater. "I'm at the salon on High now," she said. "Payroll, health insurance, bad break room coffee." I cut back to one phone, I said. We stood with the simple parts. "I'm sorry," she said. "Not for getting caught. For thinking I could carry 2 selves into one promise." "I wanted the picture more than the truth," I said. That didn't help either of us. She nodded. Are you okay? I'm building okay, I said. It's slower than I want and fine. A vendor called out prices. We stepped aside for a stroller. No hug. No late-night text to follow. Just two people choosing not to make a fresh mess. I'm glad you reset the stone, she said, noticing the small jeweler's envelope in my pocket. It's going to my sister, I said. That's right, she said. Make it mean something clean. We said goodbye and meant it in the responsible way. On the way home, I passed the hotel. A family rolled suitcases through the doors. I let it be just a hotel again. Back in the apartment, I opened the windows and washed fruit. I answered a few guest replies with the same short line. Thank you for understanding. I put the pendant receipt with the rest of the paperwork. The table finally looked like it belonged to one life. That night, I took the unfinished vows from the drawer. I didn't burn them. I folded the paper and slid it into a book I'll keep. Some words can be true for who you were and still not belong to the day you're in. Before bed, I set one reminder in my calendar. Call the jeweler next week. Then I turned off the last light and let the room be quiet without explaining it. Ordinary came back in small pieces. That was enough.